One of the most effective ways to assure that our students are being properly challenged and that their individual learning needs are being met is to utilize individualized teaching techniques. Meeting individual student learning needs is no exception in agricultural education. Rather, we have the opportunity in our field to apply these techniques to a wider array of content. Individualized teaching techniques address the reality that each student's learning ability and level is different, not to mention the fact that their needs and interests are different. As we recognize these differences, we can allow for the opportunity to capitalize on them by utilizing these individualized teaching techniques to promote total student success. There are 5 types of individualized teaching techniques as noted by Newcomb, McCracken, Warmbroad, and Whittington in their book on Methods of Teaching Agriculture. These 5 techniques are supervised study, experiments, independent study, the use of student notebooks, and using information sheets, assignment sheets, and skill sheets. As one of the 5 techniques, we are going to spend a couple minutes exploring more about experiments. Experimentation, if performed correctly, not only allows students to have an individualized learning experience, but they also specifically encourage students to inquire about subject matter at hand and promote independence in managing tasks and their own learning. Have you ever had a student, or have you been that student, that had a very sincere interest in something unique in the science or education that you are in? Or maybe there's students asking a question about 2 possible outcomes in an agricultural situation or scenario, and we want to discover which is more efficient. What better way to address student interest and inquiry than to spur them on to conduct an individualized experiment? Experiments allow students to be involved in their own learning. They will be engaged in systematic thinking using experimentation methods. They develop problem-solving skills in hypothesizing and then analyzing results. And they will apply facts already understood in the coursework of your classroom to achieve higher cognitive processing and drawing conclusions. As a teacher, we need to be aware of the methods to most properly capitalize on the individualized teaching techniques of experiments. Here are a few key points to stick by. You will need to facilitate the selection of an appropriate experiment given class content or the student's inquiry on a given matter. You will need to develop an outline of experimentation steps and supplies needed for the student and/or assist them in doing this themselves. In order to gauge how the student can be maximizing their time with the experiment, you need to anticipate results and ask questions to stimulate progress by following student progress. In order to develop more skills, students will share results using presentation and reporting skills that you may also be able to teach. Finally, try and apply some current agricultural research and experimentation to the students' outcomes and conclusions in order to reveal the significance of doing such experiments in the agricultural field. Now you are more prepared to use experiments as one of the individualized teaching techniques in order to allow your agricultural students to have individual student success.